Welcome to Detail Garage. Today we have this Nissan GTR wheel, and this wheel is dirty. So you can see the face doesn't look so bad, but when you turn it around, it's a completely different story. It has a lot of buildup, a lot of brake dust buildup from being on the racetrack and being driven hard. And also, it's really hard to clean the inside of the barrel when you have a big brake hit. So today we're here to give this wheel a full detail from A to Z. We're going to decontaminate it, we're going to clean it, we're going to polish it if necessary. We're going to make this wheel look amazing. So to get started off, we're going to be using decon to strip off a lot of the contaminants off the wheel and off the barrel as well. So now that we have access to it, we can get in back of the barrel, and we can really help clean this area off. So to get started, let's grab our decon here, prime it. Perfect, that's enough decon for the inside. Now it's time for us to get the face. These lug nuts. Perfect, so I'm gonna let this sit on here for about 3 to 5 minutes, so we see a lot of the contaminants get pulled off. We'll come back, and then afterwards we're gonna start agitating. All right, so it's been about 5 minutes, and I can tell you right now that the back of this wheel has a lot of nasty filth coming out of it. Decon usually turns purple when it lifts off a lot of the iron contaminants. In this case, it's really hard to see, especially with the lighting conditions, and because the inner part of this wheel is dark. But I can tell you right now that is a lot of purple stuff coming out. So I have a few tools here. I have my wheel woolies, got a little bit of Diablo wheel gel. Put about an ounce of that for lubrication, that way we don't scratch the surface. Apply it directly onto my wheel woolly here. And let's start scrubbing the inside of the barrel. So I'm gonna start off with this, the wheel woolly, and just start agitating. And as you can see, it's nothing but black muck coming out of here. Yeah, the barrel was pretty nasty. There's a lot of nasty filth coming out of here. But I do feel the surface getting a lot more slick. So I can tell a lot of those iron contaminants are being taken off. And if you just look at that, it's just a lot of nasty filth coming off. Yeah. So agitating is very important, especially cleaning the inside of the barrel. All right. And then it's always good to have like a detailing brush like this one. This is the best detailing brush. You can get behind the spokes and start agitating. See, as you guys can see that as I'm cleaning, as I'm agitating this, a lot of stuff falls off pretty easy. So I'm pretty certain when I get in there with the pressure washer, all this is gonna come off with no problem. Now it's time to do the face. Just grab my green brush here. It's very soft bristle. Also, the plastic's not gonna hurt the wheel if I do bump into certain areas of it that are a little bit difficult. And this gunmetal gray right here, it's looking really good. I wasn't really too concerned about the face of the wheel because I knew this would clean off pretty easy. Especially, since we use, wheel guard. Wheel guard is a nice protectant. So it helps maintaining these wheels a lot easier. All right, perfect. The wheel's nice and clean. There's hardly any kind of dirt on there. Considering the fact that this was on the track and the inside of the barrel's squeaky clean now. Pretty sure there's still a little bit more contaminants in there, but we'll remove those with the clay bar in a second. So let me get this inside, we'll get it dried off, and then we'll start the clay bar treatment. The next step in detailing our wheel here is to use our clay bar. So we're gonna, take off a lot of the contaminants that are, remaining. Decon did an excellent job of getting rid of a lot of contaminants. It took off a lot of the iron particles inside. But I do notice there was a few things like some of the adhesive here from the counterweights that they added. There's some out here, and also one thing to keep in mind when it comes to detailing wheels like this is also knowing what kind of surfaces you're working with. The outside of the wheels, it has a nice high glossy finish. The inside has a matte finish. And also there are a few things to notice as well. There's a few chips here and there. And also the finish of the wheel, it's not consistent throughout the whole wheel. I had in mind that I was gonna polish this whole wheel. I was gonna probably do the inside, but this inside surface you can't polish because it has a matte finish. It doesn't have that protective clear coat over it. As you can see here, even the paint itself, it goes from like a silver and then it kind of, goes into this black finish. And even on the star and the inside where the spokes start off and they kind of spring out, it goes from that black finish again into the, the original finish of the wheel. And also there's a few little spots like the overspray spots that I've noticed from the paint itself that just kind of splattered on there. I guess Nissan thought, no one was ever going to look there. We're going to be clay barring with our OG clay bar and our clay lubricant. I'm using the OG clay bar because you can actually see the contaminants that come off the wheel because it's a nice yellow color. And also it's a combination of light and medium. So light and medium is a perfect one to not mar your paint or not mar the surface on wheels, because wheels have a tendency to show scratches a little bit easier. So this is a perfect go-to clay bar for clay bar and wheels that are doing a detailing service like this. So to get started, we spray our clay bar and spray down the surfaces that we're going to be working on. We'll be doing short strokes back and forth. And get that adhesive that's on there. That's kind of bugging me. I feel the surface getting a lot more slick in that area, especially where the adhesive is at. And there we go. That's a lot of the adhesive, a lot of the particles that were coming off. So you can see they're just right here stuck on the clay bar, even on the little edge of it. So that's perfect. That's what we want to see, because it is those contaminants that attract other contaminants and cause them to hook onto there. It's kind of like Velcro in a sense. So the more slick the surface is, the less contaminants are going to stick on there, because there's nothing for it to grip onto. It's a nice smooth surface, so it's very hard to grip onto that. So now that we cleared the inside of the barrel, it's time for us to do the face. And this is why you do the face the last, because you see here, you see all these drip marks? That's the excess clay lubricant from the inside of the barrel, so when I was claying it. So it's gonna fall onto the top of or I should say to the face of the wheel. So now it's time for us to take that off, and we're gonna clean it with a fresh clay bar. Or I should say a fresh piece of the clay bar. Make sure it's well lubricated. And now it's time for us to decontaminate the spokes and the face of the wheel. It's always best to start off with the spokes first. Find out it's a lot easier to clay bar that way. Then once you do the wheels, you want to do the lip. And then once you do the lip, you can make your way into the holes for the lug nuts. So we finished with our clay bar treatment, and the surface is nice and smooth. So we're gonna start off by polishing the face of the wheel. Now, earlier I told you guys that, the inside of the barrel, I would normally polish that too, but because of the fact inside the wheels are actually like a matte finish, so you shouldn't be polishing that in the first place. So we're just going to be focusing on the spokes and the face of the wheel. So to get started, we have our Torque X with our green hex logic pad. So for the harder parts to get, like this inner lip, I can't necessarily get in there because it's going to be vibrating too much. I could have the backing plate crash into it and stuff. So in order for me to be polishing that, I'm going to use a white hand polishing pad, and I'm going to polish these lips by hand. So for the spokes and for the face of the wheel, I'm going to do it the easy way with our Torque X and the green hex logic pad here. And I'll be using our V36. So V36 with the green pad is perfect for any kind of like one-step polishing, especially on wheels like this. It's going to get rid of a lot of scratches and swirls. This is more of a heavy polishing pad. So it's going to get rid of light scratches and swirls. It's a nice heavy polish. So it's going to knock off whatever kind of sealant or coating that's on here as well. But it also refines and it actually finishes off very smooth. So if you don't want to go ahead and do multiple paint correction, you can go ahead and do this one step, and it's going to help out a lot. So let's get started. So got our V36 here. Squirt out 3 small drops, because the surface that we're working on doesn't necessarily need a lot of compound. 1 spray of our pad conditioner. Now, this is a tricky part. You don't want to put too much compound. You don't want to saturate the area too much. Just want to get a few spokes at a time as well. And because it is a wheel, the easiest way for you to be polishing or to get the spokes closest to you, you don't want to be reaching over. You want to work comfortably in the area that you're working on. And as you're going along, you just spin the wheel along the surface. Make sure you have like a microfiber, pad or something so you don't scratch the wheel when you rotate it. So this way you work comfortably and most of all safely. Last thing you want to do is damage a nice wheel like this. So once you blot out your compound, there's no really point of spreading it out at a lower speed setting either, because you can basically cover it by just moving it like this. So you can already start off at your cutting speed, which in this case I'm doing speed setting 6. So I'm just go at it. See these spokes here, they have a nice luster to them. And as also you can tell, I didn't spend too much time on it because they do heat up pretty fast, and there is a clear coat, there is paint on this, so you can actually burn the paint on wheels. It's very uncommon, but you actually can burn them. Trick is just to keep moving, and the compound's going to break up pretty fast and pretty easy because you're working on a very, very small surface area at a high speed. So the compound's going to basically work its way through pretty quick. So one thing to keep in mind is the fact that you want to keep moving and use a small amount of product as well. But I'm very happy with the results that I'm getting. Between one spoke that I have done and one spoke that I haven't done, I can already see a difference. It's a little bit more luster to it. There's very, very fine scratches and swirls on the spokes that I haven't polished, and the ones that I have polished, there's no scratches or swirls. There's none visible to my eye, none visible to any kind of lighting. We'll go ahead and we'll polish the rest of the wheels, and for the lip, we'll polish that by hand. So we finished polishing the wheel and it looks great. So now it's time for us to polish the lip. Now the lip, again, I can't get in there with the machine, so I'm gonna have to do that by hand. So I have our white polishing pad. This is our Hex Logic white hand polishing pad. This one's perfect, so I can get in there. I can get those grooves, and I can even, flip the wheel forward and hit it from the back and get the back part of the lip a lot easier. So I'm gonna prepare that. Spray a little pad conditioner on there, and I'll put some V36 just on the tip. Insert sexual innuendos now. You just want to go back and forth, and you're going to be polishing back and forth as much as you can. This is going to take a little bit of elbow grease, so those of you that go to the gym, you guys could skip arm day if you're going to be doing this. we finished polishing the wheel, and the wheel's coming out great. I mean, there's no scratches or swirls on the surface. The wheels is in a near new state. But there are some things that we do have to, consider when it comes down to protecting the wheel. This wheel did have a few rock chippings in it, and it does have a few etchings onto the paint, onto the surface, and into the barrel. So in order for us to get a proper, bonding between the paint, you can either use a sealant, you can use a wax, or you can use a coating. In this case, for this type of wheel, since it does have a few, pittings and etchings and chips, I'm gonna be using jet seal to go ahead and coat the wheel inside the barrel and outside. And then after I'm gonna, let the jet seal bond and protect the surface, I'm gonna go ahead and use wheel guard. Now, jet seal is a synthetic sealant that's gonna give it up to 12 months of protection. It's also gonna help protect against brake dust etching onto the clear coat and onto the barrel as well. So we're gonna be using jet seal. Just give it a good shake. I'm gonna have my microfiber applicator. Apply a few drops. Remember, when doing a wheel like this, you don't want to use too much product. So start off with the face. So start off with these spokes. Let's give them a nice coat. Start off from the outside and make my way to the inside of the spokes. So it's been about 20 minutes, and it's time for us to buff off the jet seal. You can see it has a light haze, and now it's time to start buffing off. I can already see a difference. It has more of a dark satin look to it, as opposed to like a dusty look. And jet seal's falling off pretty easy. I'm also getting the inside lip. So when I start doing the face, I don't have to struggle trying to get in between the spokes. I can just get the inside lip from here, from the back of the wheel. Now we got the hard part out of the way. I'm gonna lay the wheel back down, and then we're gonna be buffing off the face. Be sure to flip your microfiber towel to a cleaner side. That way we don't get any kind of cross-contamination or cause any scratches or swirls. And then just keep buffing off the jet seal. So we just finished buffing off the jet seal, so now it has a nice 12-month protection on this wheel. Also, the most important thing about putting jet seal on a wheel like this is the fact that it's going to protect the wheel from having brake dust built up inside it. Brake dust is very hard to clean once it's inside the barrel, especially in a wheel like this where it has a big brake hit once it's mounted onto the car, so it's really hard to get around that area. So jet seal is definitely going to prevent brake dust from building up. So now the final step is to make it look better. This wheel already looks amazing. It's shiny, high gloss, very slick finish. A lot of people would be happy with these results, but we're going to kick it up a notch. So we're using our Max Coat wheel guard to give it a second layer of protection to protect it from any kind of UV solar rays or any kind of contamination on the wheels. And this is also going to help it from, having brake dust built up outside of the wheel, inside, wherever we add it. So wheel guard or Max Coat wheel guard is one of the best things that you can put on your wheel for maintenance, or even if you want to bring out a nice high shine on your wheel. So let's get started. I'm going to open up our tub and get our nice green putty here. Apply some to your microfiber applicator. Again, just spread it out onto the surface. It's a nice generous amount, and this amount is actually perfect because I can go into the side of the spokes. Again, we're getting the face. Face is very easy to get. So it's been about 15 minutes since we added Max Coat onto this wheel. So now it's time to start buffing off. And again, just like the jet seal, see a nice finish. It's getting more of a deeper black, even though this is like a matte finish on the inside of the wheel. It is giving a nice matte finish. Deeper black, it doesn't look as cloudy. And it's very, very slick. As I'm removing it, I just feel the surface getting really slick. Even though the surface necessarily isn't a slick finish, Doesn't have any kind of clear coat. So just to recap, we cleaned and decontaminated the wheel using decon. With decon, we were able to pull out and extract a lot of those iron particles that embedded themselves onto the wheel. Afterwards, we went ahead and we used our OG clay bar to decontaminate the surface from any other kind of impurities and to prep the surface for nice polish. Afterwards, we went ahead and we used our V36, our green heavy cutting pad, to refine the surface and to prep it for our last step. With Jet Seal and Max Coat, that ensures a nice durable bond, high protection, high shine, and the wheel's able to withstand anything that's being thrown at it.